Welcome to my channel, Journey of Spirit. I'm coming to you from another angle. I'm sitting on the sofa watching telly. I had to hop on. Send some other questions in the ether, and that had to do with discernment or how to be better. The last eclipse moon phases were tests. In would you be tempted? Would you use magic? Stuff like that. I discerned myself from all what was going on, or distanced myself from all what was going on. Um, because I sensed an energy. There were several energies. Other readers did a good job uh, tapping on that energy. And the energy of the eclipse and the moon cycles were somehow entangled. Would you use magic? Would you choose dark night of the soul over lighter side? Can you balance? Um, what are your own triggers and how do you implement them in your 3D reality? Yeah, and can you um, let go of the links, of the connections, the ties? So yeah, there may be or have been some extreme people out there. But I also sensed another energy that was of one that is confused and was looking for just some tools. I know that you can just Google it, DuckDuckGo it, or whatever you use. Do your research. You can even type this stuff in your YouTube search bar and find whatever resonates for you, whatever you are looking for. So this led me to explain a bit what spirituality and clairsentient um means, with a little disclaimer that when yeah when I was younger, I found out that um, what I would think, what would pop up in my head, that has to do with law of attraction and manifestation. But and I wasn't even. I knew, but I wasn't um, aware slash conscious or that conscious about it. It was just a thing I did, and I knew I could do it in some shape or form. I would think something and it would happen, sometimes very fast and sometimes it would take a while, depending on what I was thinking and giving green light to. When you are younger and you have a safer environment, or at least if you feel like you have at that time, then those gifts could show up there in that phase of your life, because then you are trusted with those gifts. There are pauses in between where you develop in other areas. So I didn't pay no mind to it back in the day. Later on, I was a little bit, uh, I was in my teens, my 20s. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to time. It was like, again, got confronted with what I thought that would manifest. Therefore, I was like, okay, this is kinda tricky, or this comes with a responsibility. Because if everybody would have it, and not everybody is balanced, or if everybody would have it in general, we would get bored somehow. That for one. And second, it is very easy to also get spoiled, abuse, misuse your gifts. I also never had the want, the need to play some kind of god. Yeah, where I had some insights where in confrontations where it was like the energy can be that sensitive that something can happen just like that fast. And in my knowing, I was like, okay, so this can happen either or in a bigger race. So then I was guided into situations or got into situations where uh, you get confronted with death. So that spirit is certain that you don't just react like a spoiled. You are not giving me my way, and therefore I wish. Yeah. That even got me scared for a while on my journey of thinking anything. I was like, oh crap. Like, fucking, oh, no. Yeah. So, moments of fear are normal, are part of the process. How you react is up to you. So then you get in between the uproar of what you have absorbed through life versus how you responded to get that additional empathy and if or empathy in general if you did not wasn't aware that you had any. Within this you get a phase of okay, everybody if you look at it that way everybody's a victim. Yeah, so that is just another phase of lessons. When you get into a phase, then you have a higher self slash ego, depending on the moon phase and how sensitive you are to that and your environment, where you are in between who's the bigger victim, the person in 3D uh, reality versus me here. Then you might tip into self love, where you self love is also sitting down with yourself, listening to what is within as you would otherwise do with your best friend and just vent, basically. Yeah? Learn how to sit with self and let self be that friend that bit her his or her tongue so long. And it's just ugh. If you've done that, yeah, it is a cycle. So it comes and goes. Because if that is also on repeat, you get to get used to it somehow, where you get less reactive. So the cycling, the pattern, an occurring pattern It's all about repeat. Positive, negative. When you have to mix it in here, it becomes, yeah, can become a little bit complex. Therefore, you can, like important stuff you have to handle. And if you are really overwhelmed or feel overwhelmed, you can show yourself, see, recognize it as that tool. You can show yourself that you can ask for a extension in a procedure, yeah, or in the proceedings. When self sees that, and you recognize, oh, that's self-love too. Yeah, I can do that. I have the power. We tend to put that on repeat as well. Some helpful advice from me. See that it needs to be repeated, yes, but the way, as in how you do it, doesn't have to be on the same topic. You can apply it uh, to self. So if you had like feeling overwhelmed, feeling tired, and you didn't know why, where it came from, yeah, you can say, okay, I'm going to let it flush over me, like as if you are in the shower, let it just come down, and then sit with the energy. So the washing down, say, okay, let it just flow, is a sort of acceptance where you give yourself an okay to let it be in the now. Acknowledge that that can't be controlled in such a chaotic moment, and be like, let me, when it all came down, let me then try to decipher it. Yeah? So those are layers to, unless it's in between, to evolve, to better yourself, and to understand why gifts are there and how to apply them. But when you have those moments, they are so full of energy. It is such a big matter that I would sometimes be like, this was before I would believe in, yeah, I always believed in energy. I wouldn't call it, uh, I wouldn't give it a name, as I like to believe more to do with respect. If because I always had a allergic reaction to people who would, they would have heard my name and would say, "Oh, I know her." Where it is like first fourth party, never met a person, but because my friend would have spoken to them about me or mentioned my name, they would say, "Oh, I know her," and I was like, "Don't use my name. You don't. It's disrespectful." Because yeah, I don't know where you come from. I don't know what you are about, and who says I want to be connected, linked to your person or you as a person. Because also out of respect, if I'm interested in you, I will give you my time, give you space, and want to know more about you. Yeah, and therefore with energy, I was like, if it is not tangible, if it's abundant, how can I ever say that I know the energy, let alone be word equipped? I don't know. Be good enough, basically, balanced enough, equal enough to use a name for that energy. And then you get lessons because those are questions in the mind, and then you manifest responses. So then you get additional downloads or channeled messages. That's what it was. Then you get channeled messages. Then yeah, you ask yourself the question: do we have enough body? If God is in us, for example, just because that is the general way of explaining it. Yeah, does our body have enough mass or equality to hold the energy? That's why you do your work to create space to know that you had already uh, that you already had that much energy stored in you by the light side or darker side, or yeah, however they would form, you would have both energies. If that one held up into one, then you have a somewhat of a picture of yeah. Like I said, if you are doing it correctly, you will have questions and you get answers out of nowhere. If you are stuck in your mind and stubborn and don't really want to see it, you will get 3D signs. So a video would pop up like on one of your timelines, or when you type something in your search bar, for instance, just wanting to shop for clothing somewhere, for clothes somewhere. Yeah, sometimes I notice that in my videos, the word sounds different than I said it initially. So anyway, you would search for clothes online, and then in the search bar you get um, suggestions that don't even fit what you are looking for. Yeah, those are really answers and synchronicities as to what is important to you or what you need to see in that moment, especially when one pops up like, yeah, that wasn't really what I was even searching for or needed or whatever. It wasn't even on my mind. Meanwhile, all this time, you are working with the energy, with the energy that is all around you. So basically, what we are doing, we are training our awareness to see it, to notice it, and to get familiarized with it again. So with me on my journey, there was even when it comes to the person in the collective who was just searching for answers in is this normal? So first you work out what you absorbed when you were younger, how you dealt with it, depending on how aware you were about other gifts. So if you weren't aware that you had gifts, you will basically be in that cycle. If you were aware that you had some gifts, it can be that if you want to do it correctly, not, yeah, I have a gift, let's play, but be like, okay, this is a responsibility. How does this work? And spirit will let you, if you are that person that is impulsive, spirit will let you play, but only to see if you listen to that voice inside. Like, am I doing this okay? Uh, am I crossing boundaries? So just to scope out if you have the right attitude and awareness slash responsibility, intuitive, all those layers, all those facets, if there are pieces there to make this a good thing for yourself and your surroundings, if not now, in the future. So, what I sensed was a person that was struggling, and this comes also cycles back. Yeah, what you absorbed in the past, you have an in between where you look at the mechanics, how it came about. You learn, see the situation from different points of view. Then you get a sense of your sensitivity, maybe scared and rattled. That's normal, part of the process. So your voice, your inner voice, should I, am I good enough? Instead of viewing that as self-sabotage, you can have moments of those, that's normal, but self-sabotage can go yay deep. You get rewarded eventually. You don't, basically, you are taking your responsibility and going the extra mile to make sure gifts are safe with you. So I don't even judge you when you do it that way. Some are think they are fast learners and they just need or are a little bit further and just need that click where for the recognition of okay, that voice can also be helpful for me. Be mindful. Also mindful. Full mind. You become aware of everything. You have a full mind. I can't explain it any other way. You have a full mind. Yeah? So be questioning yourself also if you would even like a full mind. Because you will go through a layer where if you like to call the energy God or universe, yeah? That you be in a setting, in a dimension where you hear a lot of different things. Hence, I could be that kind of reader, put every channel, every out there. But reflecting, I'm always like, what shit? And then I pause and I'm thinking back of all the things that I picked up on that wasn't even mine. That's a phase that's being fine tuned as well uh, during this period. But that is because I was like, okay, not on repeat. Sit back. Every extra lesson for me at least. It's just a reminder, so it becomes. I'm certain that was learned and or mine. If I could have let it as is, but also knowing that I can influence the bigger group with my energy, and this comes in an earthly, always an earthly way, as in I would being among colleagues back in the day. It needed some time for them to see, okay, she is in the morning, for instance, yeah, she needs to have her cup of coffee. Yeah, and I had my morning coffee, but I had to have uh, another coffee. That, that was a little goal I would set for myself back in the day when I got into a rut. That was my little goal. Okay, if at least I can make it through morning traffic in the train and have that I've, God willing, I guess smile the rest of the day. It was like petty, but yeah, in hindsight, it are the phases of the absolute awareness. Yeah, it's you have those little playful moments which you can recognize as such looking back on them. Yeah? And it took my colleagues a while to understand. Okay, she had a lot of impressions and a lot of potential triggers in the train. So let her have her morning coffee, then look at her face, or yeah, some I was more familiar with could be like look into my eyes and I would accept that. Otherwise, I'd be like, I would just turn around and go outside to air out and off uh, all the energies. Like I said, I didn't. It was a thing I knew. Yeah, know how to do, and just did. Trusting I needed that was an intuitive uh, action. So then, in those moments, I would do that, and yeah, depending on how the general vibe was, could say, "Not today. Let me just be on my own," or 9 out of 10, just because they knew how I was, I just got like biggest energy of gratitude toward them. Thankful that would they had taken the time to get acquainted with me, taken their time to uh, show that certain respect and space. And sometimes I would be like, okay, but in the beginning, I saw, and it was not only me. Um, I was so busy with other energies, yeah. Just if a colleague was generally not having their day, everybody would tiptoe around them. Instantaneously, I would think like, what if I did it? Does it have the same effect? And I thought that was interesting, so there I started to monitor the mechanism, the back and forth, the energy exchange. There I also learned how to not be as primitive because I also have a little edge of I'm me. I'm like this. Either you got a time or not. For me, I have the time or not. Yeah, deal with it. I'm not playing, entertaining, doing good girl things today. I'm just like neutral, straightforward energy. And I could be observer, observing situations. Like I said, yeah, always wondering what if, etc. I learned how to focus and shift focus there. So when I noticed that one of my colleagues would be kind of cranky or just having that bad day, and I saw that other colleagues were focusing or going to focus on that colleague, I was like, no, let's go, leave them, let's do our own thing, enjoy ourselves. That person will come and join because the vibration is better, so the human resonance in hindsight. Uh-huh. It was just knowing. Now, due to research, I have explanation, better words. Anyhow, present. So the person that was cranky would feel safe to shift their energy as well, or we as a group had a bigger positive vibe which that person in darkness couldn't handle or couldn't overcome, conquer. Yeah? If a person generally would have a was in a bad situation, I also knew to go to them and just give them a heads up. Like, if you want to talk, know that you can talk to the manager, know that you can have a, yeah, you call it something else, confidant, someone of personnel affairs at your job place, a doctor, in the medical field. And if the situation isn't that oppressive or suppressive, you just need to vent, you can talk to me or someone you, yeah, feel drawn to talk about certain. I would say we see you, but we don't want to be up all in your business of or want to make you feel that way. Yeah? So me knowing what was what made me aware that I could use that in a group setting. And I could shift the mood. Because then, in the ripple effect, months after, uh, years after, even depending on how many co-workers would get fired, would leave out of themselves, and new people would come in, etc. Yeah, uh, I knew I could work with the energy, influencing the energy. Also, when a fight would break out, when my mind says, hell no, behave, we are adults, yeah, if that thought would pop in my head, I would feel that, and I needed to stand up and be like, hey, and people would be quiet. That got me interested in the mechanism and the energy in itself, as in how, on a bigger scope, with responsibility, we are affecting the spheres, the energies. I was also curious later on in how it functions within. Which brings me back into, can we handle energy after you had all of that, the processing, to have empathy toward cosmic energy and have real responsibility. I was like, when you come into the layer where everything goes past you, through you, etc., is what if that was all the wishes not granted, or the conversations people have toward God? Then you have the chance to ask yourself, do you want to be like God, universe, source? Yeah. In that moment, I was like, no. Like with the other example, with a colleague, you come home, you shut the door, you do your thing, and unless they have your number, you have space for you. And you can let it go. That's why with technology also, yeah, and people having apps, etc., or the your boss needs your WhatsApp, your phone number and your WhatsApp, whatever, to notify to. No, I have kids who notify. Mom, can I? Mom, do you? Mom, I have a question. Those are notifications enough. Yeah, picture that into a uh, channel or channeler or a reader who is in the ethers. That's why I always like to. I rather educate or give tools than to, yeah, be on a repetitive cycle. The repetitive cycle is just for positive things you like to wheel in, spirit wheel in, or filter cycle in. Uh, and the other patterns uh, are on a cycle as well to if there are negative elements to it, to decipher those, to pick that out. That's the sludge. That's the retrograde kind of energy where you can, okay, I can, why did I respond like that? Why, yeah, do I need it? Is it for my highest good? Yes or no? And pick it out. Either you alchemize it and you have lighter elements, or your lighter element got bigger and you continue the work. And I feel like I fuse a couple of topics together, which was also a hint to the ones that are more elevated. That was the eclipse, to fuse, alchemize, eclipse certain elements of self together to have a stronger foundation or a stronger presence. Because no other video has to do with manifestation as well. Yeah, so all in between, all lessons, all cycles is a lot to process. Therefore, again, we need practice. Therefore, it cycles back in and out. And if you've done it correctly, um, it is a bit different. How it is for you is up to you. I can't tell you when you are satisfied or content. So asking yourself, how would the energy feel? Ask us asking, constantly ordering in. I did a other video about that, where I gave that example. Also about the sensitivity of the energy in itself, and also separately about patterns. So in the topic of now, fusing it in, um, I sent somebody who was confused about, is this my energy then? Or is this somebody else's energy? But if all is one, um, is this a normal state of being, or a normal sensation? That's also up to you. If you don't feel safe, if you don't feel comfortable, you are asking yourself those questions because you want something, a better quality of that. what I had as well. I wanted the better quality. Because it looked a bit chaotic. You get lessons of in between as well. What is control? How to let go. To balance between letting go, accepting, versus where is self love to step out of a situation to guide yourself out of it, to really look at the situation to become better. You can also view it as your higher self guiding your inner child to playfully look at the mechanisms behind what is going on. But the mindset in itself, is it me? Is it everybody else's energy? Is there a off switch? Um, yeah, I for the longest period, I questioned myself. Uh, I questioned it myself as well, but it was on the topic because then I like to slice and dice, be like, okay, this is too big of a topic. Which theme can I place it in? And then it would be, okay, now it comes back based on the theme duality. How do you handle duality? What is duality? Then the same feeling might occur based on old patterns, trauma. Then it might cycle back in, okay, now you think you mastered it, yeah, and then the laws of universe, stuff like that. It is always on repeat. Hold on. Yeah. So the energy and back. Then energy. Is it yours? Is it somebody else's? In the it cycles back. That topic. Uh, I can't really give you is this or that because yeah, you have people relating more to I am sensitive versus I'm consider myself to be an empath versus yeah when you are in slice and dice mode, use some kind of discernment. Um, filtered it in. It becomes a pattern as well, where you have to see that you do that and become more aware eventually in the whole process. To say, okay, I said that, I labeled it that, I accepted it as that. That was your extension, basically your pause button on that situation in a previous moment. So as you evolve, you see that you controlled that cycle or those cycles as well, and you become the master more and more. You also have the growth cycle of or the calibration of mind heart coherence. Also there, when you relate it as psychic, psychic medium, as a sensitive, as a clairsentient, those words in itself can be kind of making you dizzy or questioning. Yeah, if it does that, then put aside, it is what it is now. Um, sense what you are sensing in now and see if what I said, if the heart mind coherence resonates with the topic you are working on. You go through those feelings, processing those feelings, as in, okay, what did fear mind made of it back in the day? What did my animal uh, reptilian brain made of it, left, right, etc.? Yeah, like I said, cycles back, and how did my heart interpret it? And you have all those lessons and steps in between. They all have a reason, and have a function as well. Um, I just had a during phases, had more clarity on it, in my own personal situation, because I accepted it and reserved it as something, and was like, okay. And the moon cycle and the eclipse showed me an whole lot of truth. And I thought I was done with that topic. It was like, yeah, you think. Here we go. Out of the blue, I got insight. I was like, hey, and that's actually powerful. That's actually beautiful. It doesn't mean it's integrated, because in those moments, we create our own Mercury, our emotions. Our water. Stir it up, yeah, as in a new, exciting way of being. But then in that moment, we forget that we already knew, and that was another form of confirmation. And if you are like, am I this confused because of the many layers, or because she is going, yeah, it might be both. And within that is a normal occurrence as well. Like I said, know where you are, you need to find your parents. To find your parents, you need to look around. So you first use your autopilot to do so. Yeah? When you choose to be in the driver's seat again, your whole system is basically as in being in the garage for I don't know how long, and you just take it for a spin, spontaneity, and the whole system is like, oil needs to be processed, this needs to be processed, this needs to be synchronized, etc. before we can have an official go. Like I said, the dealing with everybody else was feeling was also a lesson, as in be careful what you ask for. But I, or in that process back in the day, fear got attached as well to it. Therefore, when you cut it down, it becomes, yeah, layered, becomes little segments, and then you get that fragmented idea, energy as well. So we ourselves and this system, yeah, is functioning as it holistically speaking, uh, not being aware or taking up too much input, yeah, and you neglect it, it connects dust, uh, dust, etc. It turns into a certain fungi. For instance, I'm just, yeah, pretty generalizing how to give you a metaphor to explain. The dust can collect something else where it becomes gives a chemical reaction or whatever, and it becomes fungi, and then it becomes something else you don't want it. Then it spreads, etc. Yeah. So on a spiritual plane, holistically speaking, oh, talking about energy, what makes you you. You can have stuff stored up, plugged up, etc. It's maybe beneficial when you work it out, or when you neglect it, it yeah, becomes something unwanted, a burden, etc. And that phase of confusion is all is fun and all is me, something of that sort. You also have a trigger to look at that body mind coherence and that sensitivity. How do those systems work together? Yeah, and then in hindsight, when you choose to pause and reflect, it is like those are a lot of energies, a lot of topics, a lot of different look different. Yeah, but then just take that bird's eye view and see like that's one all the work you already were processing, already have done, because then you see your past, what you have done similar, or what you already have processed. So to know that you already have the power, to acknowledge that you already know, is working on less codependency. And where it all boiled down to when it came to me doing the work. If I was a god, and in between I had all those questions and concerns. You also have to ask yourself the question: what are the powers from thinking, and uh, who did they came from? Because when you are working on karma dharma, uh, you see that that topic is similar as to cause and effect. You also see that there are similarities in uh, Dark Knight, light side of yourself. Like I said, you see synchronicities in by trigger words or certain phrases in the whole range of topics and fears that are out there. And you see, okay, that is what they mean with all is one. When you reflect it back to mind heart coherence, then versus your nervous system versus your emotions, etc., then you see, okay, there all is already one. Then you become more thankful uh, for all that is. And then you still have that human side as well. What makes us human? Yeah? And that may be a more dormant versus if you are on a spiritual journey and you are wondering what are my gifts, how does it feel, what is what? How do you deal with it when you had all the laws? With all the laws again? You want to know where the powers before you? Who is God and how did they use them and why? Also, a form of finding your bearings. Where am I going? Uh, do I want that? If yes, why? And what are the pitfalls? What are the temptations? And that was what I saw in the collective. And I was like, as of late, and I was like, okay. When you are speaking up, that's my opinion, you need to back it up with some kind of knowledge. If because if you playfully balance the ethos and 5D versus how people respond here, yeah, you might notice that I have mentioned certain topics on my in my content, and then people go in a defense mechanism, which is also normal. And I'm meant to do that, but I'm also like, and then I see, okay, maybe I should balance it more when it comes to collective just watching the readers. collective on a spiritual journey, balancing playfulness, curiosity, etc., with tarot readers, etc. Yeah, all the whole wide spectrum. I was like, should I balance it more? But as I say, when I look at the whole spectrum, it is a freaking lot to do. And I'm like questioning myself, is it then becoming more clear if I do it? Um, this might create more content. I mean, but how does it sneak in, or would it sneak in? Like, you just create a content and it becomes something else than the first intent. It was first intended. Um, versus where do I still have oversight? Not go into the victim mode, not go into the defensive mode, not to uh, project outward the questions I have inward and feeding into it. Yeah, like I said, I can explain myself, go into the defensive mode, but also I'm like, yeah, if you are connecting with me in the ethers and you react, but you can either sense I'm questioning the conversation or you are, but yet we're both not reaching out to ask for clarity. Then I always also did some went down some rabbit holes, thinking, yeah, okay, but if I genuinely like a person platonically, for instance, and I would actually meal them and converse with them, debate with them, would that be helpful, or are there other, yeah, uh, factors at play which can make a miscommunication? But then you are basically also setting yourself up to have a moment where a curious mindset and questioning yourself and being inquisitive is a one thing, a good thing to do. Like I said, all those in betweens where you have your own questions, which you can, if you could sense me crystal clear, and I sense everybody else crystal clear, then you would have the portal metaphor, and you get also a lot of energies, uh, different stimuli, insights. And I was, if anything, I was like, let me at least see the ego or the dark parts as in self. So where would I potentially do something when it comes to greed? When would I potentially feel reactive when it comes to fear? Fear of missing out, feel some codependent, yeah, and then still not knowing in the finished essence, if you would be lighter, like gray, in a gray area, would it be satisfying, some kind of wish fulfillment, where you have no stress, how you could be used to in a after a traumatized period, or in the lessons of or fine tuning the clairsentient um, spectrum of himself. And because the question, I think, because the questions keep coming, because the questions will be there, you will always draw in. I was like, I like some more discernment in general, and for the public just watching, a general or a reader, yeah. I saw the ripple effect where people go into fence. I recognized, okay, then what is in me? What for my kids? Where would I get defensive about? Or is this a general topic in collective? Everybody thinks, everybody feels, and goes through life in their own way. That's the individuality. Where I believe that, or have seen in a download. That was a download. A spirit travels through us to experience life or have tried out life, that we could, as channelers, could pick up residual energy for one. And not only from collective, but if spirit travels through collective, the residue energy of a certain god or deity. Therefore, I was like, okay, for myself personally, I wanted to have some discernment, and that started with me drawing back from the channel every now and then with hold up and coming up with a slightly different content than the majority was talking about. Yeah? So being a reader, a channeler, isn't easy. Spiritually developing isn't easy. Yeah? Yeah, as I think, I hope you see as a viewer that is, these are complex topics. and not to be people pleasing, but stay authentic. I was like, I'm not going to be pushing out content of the content of the content because if I would uh, be there to measure you, it would be a quick fix, quick high, and that's not what I, as light worker, I was like, if you genuinely feel tools or certain guidance, and I want to provide that. And when I was going through those rabbit holes, it was a lot of energy to work through. So I understand news channels, etc. And I also needed a way to explain that to people, rippling out what I said about quality, better quality of, yeah. But mind you, most of us do it for free. So in some respects, they're not as I respect you, or but just that awareness. Okay, that is not you. Basically, saying to yourself, I'm thankful that they are present. Yeah, instead of yeah, trolling other readers that way. That's not why I mention the things I mention. The things I mention is just to get awareness, so both parties can uh, balance things out better. And then when it came to spirits or deities traveling through versus what I mentioned before, where the gifts came from, who owned them, why, etc. If you merge those together, um, you will be more responsible, balanced as well. And because you had empathy before, you had empathy, or you want yourself empathy, you can direct empathy towards self and then towards spirit deities, etc. And then be like, okay, I understand why you did what you did. Okay, now I recognize this is the energy passing through. I'm not going to stir it up. We're not going to, yeah, or just pinpoint it to one. Because I also had a download inside if you, and this is a beautiful one, like see. Um, oh yeah, good example to clarify what is just said was like with the spiritual warfare, I had some insight. And I was like, for instance, if I'm using or getting guidance from Michael, Earth Angel Michael, yeah, How many of you are in the collaboration with Angel Michael? How many of you get your guidance of Angel Michael? And he is one energy. Let's say he becomes a bubble to function for a collective. Yeah? Are people then generally stealing your ideas just based on spiritual warfare? Or is that the competition in the classroom? Uh, of a person being the popular one, vanity because of stigma, because of whatever, versus the class clown, versus the rebel, versus the know-it-all, versus the studious one. Are you more dealing with those characters working with Michael, or is it actually spiritual warfare? Or is as Angel I don't want to go into deep. Where is Earth Angel Michael showing you the matter? You have the matter of fact. You have the matter of putting your learned behavior into knowing, or synchronize it, calibrate it with knowing. Oh, I knew that. Oh, why didn't I see the stuff like that? Yeah, like I said, I'm the studious one, and I was curious about. Yeah, it is not all familiar territory, at least not as I seen it before, not in this setting. Like I said, let's say Archangel Michael, the energy was a hub where the majority of channels, like workers, etc., wanted um, the help of. And the hub becomes okay, the teacher uh, actually steps out because the actual lessons are learned by doing. Yeah? How does this info go? That's a possibility. Oh, kidding me? Yeah, how do you respond to information like this? Go explore. Yeah, like I said, I also saw if I would have, I had a choice during the cycle. Delve in the knowledge, self-love, or to dive in the collective. Also, you all made that decision. As in, do I choose self and choose uh, informative videos versus entertainment videos um, versus light loving hopeful energy versus the what the title is, they are doing it again. Oh, no they are, and I'm going to watch what they giving your power away, just as I view the some titles as clickbait. Yeah, it is. It is because the public wants to. I think the public wants that because it's some kind of popular. Yeah, so public know how you deal with and are affected with some kind of popularity, and as a light worker, how you sign away power by giving in those clickbait uh, titles, make your channel. Yeah. And see in polarity what booming could mean. You can do so much better. Yeah? And you can also have a funk, a dip. Maybe like, yeah, but if our ancestors in their darkest days did this and that, how are we ever going to be better? Or how are we in the beginning stages? They are there to learn from, just as your uh, parents, custodians, etc. were there. You had the choice decision in how you want to keep certain cycles going. If not from the beginning, then later on. If your ancestors are your official parents, yeah, just for the making it a lighter topic, you were their decision making as similar, but you were stubborn. Take it from your parents, then okay, this world sees parents versus maybe you feel they are generally your parents. Yes, I would like to just like to proceed with that. I don't know or not in that access because we are leveling up. And in between you get insights as in every step of the way if you're doing it correctly. The majority you see that everything is how it was supposed to be. As in a hopeful message, you want to do better and you can do better because it is to believe that Earth is the Akashic record, that we are the experiment, we have all the knowledge, quote unquote, and therefore we are interesting to the rest of universe and our universal beings. So if you cleared all that space and you gave them, like I did, gave them those insights, because behind the scenes, I work with the energy, not like meditating, debating, yeah, reviewing discussions which I have with the ancestors. Uh, that in itself helps out the collective. There's no new negative triggering on those levels in those realms. Also, in the best for last, if you encounter a problem, encounter a deity, negative spirit or energy, when it comes to mastery, basically, you learned before that slicing and dicing causes fragmentation. When you look at the paranormal investigations, you see that when you act a certain way, behave a certain way, energies are not as effective as one that's out of control, foolishly uh, diving in and doing what he, she, they, whatever do. Better said, when you have a gin, you break them down to strengthen them. So that bashing another person is only a expansion of an energy not used correctly. You shouldn't bash anybody you don't know. You don't even feel the need to bash someone you don't know. It is the energy where you normally would use a healthier way by saying, okay, maybe that person is going for this. I'm going through this. Therefore, this can occur, yeah. Or I've been through trauma. I recognize A, B, and C, and I see the whole, and then you can be like, when you learn to be the observer, you can, yeah, also see which reaction comes from what. And then you see that, okay, when I see it, recognize it, sorry again, it isn't as scary. It is just a energy present. And then you are breaking down the matter for yourself. So you don't even have to trigger the bully. You don't even have to engage in Yeah, you can stand your ground, but that's something else than go best as a group. Yeah, and there's someone because you see it and you feel higher because no cause and effect. When you reflect it back, when you mirror it back, you get I don't know, you get the mirror. Yeah, you get the reflection. That's also why you go through the lesson of or phase of not knowing whose energy is where, what, why, when you are. If you are confused, you are in a certain theme, like duality, mind coherence, hindsight, or for short, getting to know oneself in energy. So when you be in your personal space, where you have self-love and self-care, and you are wondering, did I, in this last couple of months, have I been handling energy without labeling it correctly? And versus the question, and you had the insight on that. This is the question, am I ready? Or should I be considered to be ready to handle all these energies or the whole, yeah, the wider spectrum of what's called energy? So I hope this helped. I hope I covered. If there are questions, just ask them uh, down below. Like, share, subscribe if you um, like to help others as well. Get the video going for to the people who need to see it. You know the speech already. If not, notification bell was important. And yeah, when you feel like you heard what we go through in life, and you are having the space, and there's donation option in the description box of my video. Videos, yeah, always there. I will not contact you, and yeah, I hope that this also triggers other people to share more insight and knowledge how certain stuff works for them. What did the lessons look like? So I would like to see more descriptions about phases, how they viewed what they went through, because my explanation doesn't have to fit everybody. I'm kind of over the fact of trying to search for those words to please everybody because me, it was more my ego. Like, yeah, lack or need influence. I don't know where it is. Others have inputted my benefit. You're more due to language. I'm over it. Really over it. Yeah. But anyway, I hope, really hope this helps. And I will see you in a